Welcome to Southern Crime, a new podcast where we look at different crimes from the South. The more twists and turns, the better. This podcast discusses serious crimes and is meant for those 18 years and older. Listener discretion is advised. Please consider a donation through listener support to help us keep things going. And while you're here, please hit that like and subscribe and leave a comment below. So we are going to Oklahoma, y'all. Oklahoma, where there has been a new lawsuit filed against Oklahoma County detention officers for torturing him with Baby Shark, him and others. But there's actually something behind it, y'all. November 30th, 2019, almost midnight, two Oklahoma County Detention Center officers escorted Joseph Mitchell into a vacant room. They handcuffed him from behind his back and secured him to the wall. Then they queued up the children's song Baby Shark, which allegedly played on loop for 3 to 4 hours while Mitchell was forced to stand. The volume of the song was so loud that it was reverberating down the hallways, the lawsuit says. Mitchell and 3 other former detainees claim they were subject to torture tactics while jailed in Oklahoma City. On Tuesday, they filed a civil rights lawsuit in federal court against Oklahoma County Sheriff Tommy Johnson III, county commissioners, the jail trust, and 2 former officers. Last year, the Oklahoma County District Attorney's Office investigated the incidents and charged the 2 former jail employees and their supervisor with cruelty to a prisoner and conspiracy. Sheriff P.D. Taylor told the Associated Press that officers Christian Charles Miles and Gregory Cornell Butler Jr. resigned during an internal investigation, and that Lieutenant Christopher Raymond Hendershot retired. "We don't tolerate it," Taylor said. "We always did an excellent job policing ourselves." Baby Shark, a decades-old nursery rhyme, went viral after Korean's children's entertainment company recorded the song and produced a music video in 2015. Children became obsessed with the infectious song, a development that tormented many parents who were forced to listen to the inane tune and nonsensical lyrics over and over. The YouTube video now has more than 9.5 billion views. I will tell you this, our daughter and son-in-law bought the Baby Shark CD. They were taking a trip, a family vacation down to Florida from South Carolina, and they loaded that up, and it did not last long before it was not played at all again. So the song and other genres of music have been used as a device to torment, the Oklahoma lawsuit says. In July 2019, West Palm Beach, Florida, officials began playing Baby Shark on repeat to deter homeless people from sleeping or convening overnight at an event space. Interrogators at Guantanamo Bay also notably blasted heavy metal as a technique to break down prisoners. Mitchell, along with plaintiffs Daniel Hedrick and John Basco, who were all awaiting trial at the Oklahoma County Detention Center, said in the lawsuit that they were forced to listen to Baby Shark on loop while restrained and standing for hours. Around 3:15 a.m. on November 23rd, 2019, Miles and Butler allegedly took Hedrick out of his cell and brought him to an attorney visitation room on the jail's 8th floor. The furniture had been removed, and the officers handcuffed Hedrick and forced him to stand while secured to the wall. The officers then allegedly played Baby Shark on high volume from a computer in an adjacent room. Hedrick stood there for about an hour and a half. The shift commander, Hendershot, was aware but took no action to intervene and stop the misconduct. The officers allegedly did the same thing to Mitchell a week later, and again on December 7th to Basco, who was forced to stand and listen to the song for about 2 hours. This prolonged restraint, under the conditions described herein, is tantamount to torture, was excessive, and not rationally related to any legitimate governmental or penological purpose, the detainees' lawyers argue. The lawsuit adds that the men posed no threat to the officers or anyone else, were compliant, and were not actively resisting any lawful command. The fourth former detainee on the lawsuit, Jolly Foreman Jr., was spared from the Baby Shark loop when the officers allegedly got distracted by another incident in the jail, but the lawsuit claims Foreman was subject to unwarranted verbal and physical assault. On November 2nd, 2019, the officers accosted Foreman, who was 18 and small in stature, without provocation, the lawsuit says. Miles allegedly taunted and yelled obscenities at Foreman and threatened to beat him, saying, "I'm going to make sure you live in hell." Foreman remained calm, according to the lawsuit, out of fear that the verbal assault would become physical. The officers then handcuffed him and took him out of his cell and into another area of the jail, where they sat him on a bench and secured him to a bar behind his back for over 90 minutes. After responding to a disturbance elsewhere in the jail, the officers escorted Foreman back to his cell. After removing the handcuffs, Officer Miles, in the presence of Officer Butler, drove his knee into Mr. Foreman's back as he slammed him into the wall of his cell. As Mr. Foreman turned around, Officer Miles then spit into Mr. Foreman's face. Both Officer Miles and Officer Butler laughed at Mr. Foreman as they left the cell pod. Miles and Butler have a history of mistreating detainees and were subject of many complaints, the DA said. Prater called the use of Baby Shark cruel and inhumane and said it put undue emotional stress on the detainees, who were most likely already suffering. The former detainee's lawyer argued that Oklahoma County, the Sheriff's Office, and the Criminal Justice Authority knew that officers were not properly trained or supervised. Not addressing those shortfalls, the lawyer added, made them deliberately indifferent to citizens' health and safety. So here is my view on it. People that are in jail have committed a crime and they need to serve their time. However, while they are in there, if they are being compliant, then they shouldn't be messed with at all. You know, there's bad seeds everywhere, and guards that want to abuse people need to be removed. These guards are being prosecuted. They go to court, I think, in February. I believe it was in February. Torture is not okay, period. No matter where the situation is, torture is not okay. So there you go. Baby Shark. I can understand why it would be torture. That is all for now, y'all. Bye.